Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Jason Pizzino on the Crypto Byte channel. Thanks again for joining us. If you're new here, remember to hit subscribe. I think you know the deal by now. Little bell icon. You get notification updates when we pump out new videos here on Crypto Byte channel. So, today's video, let's hit up TRON, because I'm looking at this on the technical analysis, which is obviously some sort of title in the video, or at least on the thumbnail. I'm only looking at technical analysis. One, that's what I like to do, and two, I don't like the look of TRON to do with any of the fundamentals. So for me, it's not a long hold, but my strength is in technical analysis. And I know you guys that watch the channel do like TRON. So I mean, TRON is a big one. People love to talk about it. You know what's going on. TRON price surge 31st. You know, like what are we looking at here? We've got a lot of videos on our channel about TRON. So I thought it'd be a good chance to talk about it in the technical, or from the technical analysis point of view. You can see here like tons of views. Whatever we do TRON, people love to look at it, so that's what you're asking for. That's what we shall do. So I want to look over at TRON. So disclaimer obviously is I don't own any TRON. I don't care for TRON at all. I mean, I don't really hold back on whatever I say, and that's possibly to my detriment. But I think TRON is an absolute load of garbage. I don't know what it's doing up there. I don't expect to see it there in 12 months or 2 years' time. I could be wrong, obviously, but I'm willing to take that bet. I don't really want to hold that thing for any point in time. However, having said that, looking at it from a technical analysis point of view, which is what we're doing here today. Here is my chart, but first I'll look at it quickly on the cryptocurrency market cap. We're at 14, it's dropped down, it's come up, you know, it's been floating about now. TRON at TRX sitting at 3 billion, coin is now at 4.7 cents, you can see here, and circulating supply still at 65.7 billion tokens basically. So next thing we do is jump over to TRON, so I click on that. You know, the chart comes up over here. That sort of caught my attention. The guys on the channel do videos on TRON, as I've mentioned, and I thought, look, I'll give it a look in terms of the technical analysis. I didn't like the look of it here. There's no point in buying it on the dips all the way down. Like, you'd just be getting absolutely destroyed. Here, you know, you're buying it for 15 cents, then 14, then 11, then where's the next dip? We're down, boom, 4.8. So if you caught it right at the bottom when we were going nuts in January, we were looking at that bottoming in February, then, you know, you're sort of sitting somewhere around break even. If you held on and then there was another few dips, you got it 4.6 cents, 3.8 cents, 2.6 cents right at that bottom. Now you've got to be like, you know, very confident that that's the bottom, but somewhere around that 3 cent level seems to be where TRON is holding up. And if we look back before, we had that mega pump all the way to, where are we sitting right at the top here? 20, basically call it 25 cents. I think that's where we got, if we got that chart in the right position. That is a huge gain from it previously, before the pump, when it was sitting around 100, you know, 140 million. It was at 0.2 of a cent, so all the way to 20 cents. What's my maths? 100 times? That's 100x just in, you know, a month's time. That's why there's so much hype for this coin. If you don't know, if you've never looked at the history of TRON, the hype comes from these gains. Everyone's like, oh, I made a shit ton of money off TRON, and you know, it just sort of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everyone wants to jump on board with TRON. Needless do we see, I don't know what I said there, but what we see are following everyone jumping on board is it just came all the way back down to those highs before it took off for that mega pump. So the highs were sitting around that 4.5 cents, dropped down to just below 4 cents. So around the 4 cent mark. We fell below 4 cents and then we came back above it and we were hovering around the 4 cents. Now we're sitting around 4.5. So we did just see it in the last day or so hit 5, and we've just come back into the 4, and I'll jump across in a sec. But you can even see here on the Bitcoin chart that it's finding a very nice level. It's liking 400 sats. When we follow it down, there is 420, 420, 400, 408, 470. You see what I'm getting at here, and it's finding a base there. That's not to say that this will hold, but it is a much, in my view, is a much safer bet than buying it anywhere further up, because there's just no support for it. Now we can see support coming in for it. So jumping across to the chart. So I'm using TRON versus BTC on the Binance chart. I'm using Binance because if we look here quickly, so I'm going to jump back the window, Binance is at 80 million. So the volume here is 80 million against Bitcoin. TRON versus Ethereum on I don't even know how to pronounce that, Huobi, sorry if I butchered that name, is 53 million, and then Binance again with Ethereum is at basically 40 million. So over those two, on Binance, for those two pairings on Bitcoin and Ethereum, basically 120 million. The 24-hour volume is 340, so if you round it up to 360 million, a third of the volume is done on Binance. That's why we're looking at the Binance chart. So I have the Bollinger Bands on my chart, I have the volume, I have the relative strength indicator, you can see at the bottom, which is the pink zigzag lines going up and down. We look like we're getting some support here on the relative strength indicator. So that's what it is down the bottom there, support around 34 level, 35. And I wouldn't call it bullish divergence yet because the lows are coming in at around the same lows as the chart. So normally in bullish divergence you would see that the previous low on the chart is higher. I'm just trying to see if I can explain this. I know what it looks like. So here, it's not exactly, so it's not the best example, but we've got this, right? This low here, and I'll just use my drawing tool so you can see here. So that low and that low is what what we're looking at. And then you want to look at it down here. Let me move this out of the way. And you want to be looking at that point and that point. And you can see that the lows on the relative strength indicator were higher. But this low here, if this low was at 397 and that low is 393, if this 397 was just a tad below the 393, but on the relative strength indicator it was higher, that's a bullish divergence, which gives you an indication that the market may or has higher probability of going up in in the future sessions. And you can see here, it was quite close, pretty much on a double bottom, and you can see that it did take off from there. So if you had an entry signal to enter once you see a higher swing bottom, so somewhere above this bar here, which is at 447, and you need your your allowances, so 450, probably a little bit more. That's there's a couple of days that it was closed, or one day that it was closed, but if we move on from there at 555 and the high at 620, wasn't 50%, but you could comfortably take 20 to 30% out of that and still have room to move. That's not awesome, but the market isn't doing anything, so take that into consideration as well. That is our bullish divergence. But what we're seeing here now is the market just tapering off, and we're getting smaller and smaller ranges. There is less talk going on, there's just less activity basically. But then just in the last couple of days we did see volume kick in and the lows are getting higher. So I'm liking the look of this as from a technical analysis point of view, as a potential entry, and then I would look to I basically look to trail my stops, I think, on this one. I don't know where we'd be looking, apart from looking at the bigger ranges, which I don't know if it has the energy in it at this point. That's why I wouldn't be looking at this to break, to hit up to around the 50% to 1200 sats. So what I'm looking at here is where we are right now, up to this point here. I don't know if it's got it in it. TRON has it in it to do this sort of move. That's probably why I would be looking at something along the lines of, let's use a smaller range. That's where it's previously run. I'm going to zoom in so you've got an idea of what I'm talking about. 100%, so that's the range there that TRON has done. Now what I would do is move that across into a swing, providing this market breaks through the high of the previous day. That's 100% of the previous move. So markets repeat, that's what we're looking for when we do technical analysis. Possibly we will get TRON going 100%, maybe 50%, but there's a little bit of room in that move. I don't know if that's enough upside for me to be interested, but as we've seen before, TRON can do massive moves if it gets a leg on. If there's some big news coming out, which by the looks of our videos back here, it looks like we're waiting for news at the end of the month. There could be some good stuff coming out for TRON. So maybe that's all coming into alignment, and that's what you got to look for when you are mixing technical analysis with fundamental analysis as well. So maybe people are getting ready to preparing for that move, preparing for that news, but they're doing the buying now. They don't do the buying on the news. That's what the noobs do. That's where you get burnt. This is where you get burnt. Right over here on the left side of the screen, burning. That is burnt. Alright? I've said that so many times. You hear the news, you buy, you get destroyed, and now you wait it out, you get bored, you dump, then you just hate TRON, you don't want to see it ever again. But before you know it, a move is happening like this. Look at that volume, look at that relative strength. We might get a bullish divergence coming up. A bullish move on the RSI, and before you know it, we are at 1,000 sats. That's how the markets work. That's look, here, and I'm just drawing all the hell over this market. Back here, you can see it's just gotten a bit quiet, the volume's dropped, the ranges decrease, the Bollinger Bands tighten, and then all of a sudden, boom, we spring off. I have drawn enough on this chart for now. I shall thank you for joining me on the Crypto Buyer channel. If you're loving the technical analysis videos, get in on the like button, hit that down below, you know where it is, bling 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 bling, hit that, and leave me a comment down below if you've got any questions. But until next time, remember, take care and peace out.